Meridell subdivision, as the current single-family home and accessory structure located on the site are not in an ideal state of repair. The request for variance was initiated by the Village of Galena as a requirement for construction of a new single-family home on the lot ending in -004. If the commission views the application as such, it should be approved. Thank you. One thing to note, this is a variance on both the side and rear setbacks. The setback for rear should be 65 feet, and this is just slightly less than that. And the side setback should be 20 feet, and one side of this requires a 10-foot side setback. Thank you.
David, do you have any comment or anything you want to say to the commission?
Okay. Not at the moment.
Okay. Do any of our residents want to make comment to the? Come on up front, sir. Thank you.
Before he gets up and starts speaking, one other quick thing. I did provide in your packets elevations for both the 288 North Walnut proposed house and the 300 North Walnut proposed house, and he did make the elevation changes that were requested.
Oh, that's great.
I'm officially done. Okay.
Is that it? Sir, if you could just state your name and address, please.
All right, my name is John Eric Bright. I live at the 25 Home Street Watch. Will actually be touching the property of this residence where the setbacks are. I have not seen the orientation of the building that they're proposing, but I would like to state that based on the general role of the Galena, the Village of Galena, with the #1 role that in regards to what the Village of Galena is trying to maintain, that we actually take a look at that and we consider that with other properties and people that have been there for quite some time. I bought that property in 2024 or in 2004 for quite some time. To have some individual come in basically purchase this, I realize I cannot prevent the building of this lot and the residents and things that are going to happen with the property that's not mine. However, I do think that we need to kind of double check the information with everything around that area and kind of watch those setbacks. I know it's going to affect me. It's going to affect some certain neighbors of mine that were not able to make it this evening because of certain personal issues. And I also have another neighbor with me as well that definitely also has a concern about the setback and that orientation of allowing the variance to go through.
And is that the side setback you're concerned?
I think it's a side setback, but I'll be honest, I have not seen the orientation, and somebody said it's in a packet, but I didn't get a packet, so I don't know if it's just the village members that have that packet, but since I don't know where that orientation is, I can't really speak to, hey, it's this northwest side or northeast corner or the southwest side or whatnot.
I'd be happy to show you.
I'd love to look at that, yes.
You want to come down and look real quick? First of all, can you verify which house is yours? So this, I think, would be Home Street here. So, and this is Walnut. So you're the second house in? Okay, so if you're looking at the lots this way, but there's one house there, we're proposing instead of one house in the middle, that there'll be one house on each lot. So it's this, okay, that side setback of 10 feet. We'll take it to about here, it looks like. Okay, it looks like you have, so rear setbacks in this area are supposed to be 65 feet, is that right? And yours, from just this aerial view, look, it's noted as 18 feet. So you already have, a variance already. I would guess it's whenever the house was built, yeah. If I look at the side where it's supposed to be 20 feet. He's asking for 10 feet. I would think, I can't really tell. It looks like you have about 10 feet too. So he's asking for a variance that most of the houses along this street already have. So I appreciate you wanting us to be consistent and stick to our codes as much as we can, and we try to do that. But we also like to consider the way the neighborhood's already laid out And if similar variances have been approved and we don't have a reason not to, then we would consider that.
And that's fine.
Yeah. I appreciate that very much.
Did not see that orientation.
That's completely fine, yeah.
Or if there was any views from the park over this way that I wouldn't notice.
It looks like the homes are pushed towards the front as far as they can be, yeah. So that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, like I said, I had not seen any orientation, and that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Anybody else have a comment on this? Go ahead, sir.
I'm here for Martha Lee. She's been in the community for 30-some years, and she's always had to abide by the variances and everything, and changing the variance now, it's going to put her fairly close to the bill.
Sorry. Do you know which property is hers? Is it the one on the corner?
Yes.
It is? Okay, similarly to what I was just telling the gentleman, and I apologize, I forgot your name. It looks like her property also has variances.
Right.
Where it's supposed to be 65 feet, it looks like she's at 27.
Yes.
So where he's supposed to be at 65 feet from the back, he's what, 64? I mean, he's asking for a very minor variance. So like I mentioned before, it'll be different having the houses there, but what he's asking for is not really much different than what has already been approved by the commission when the subdivision was developed.
How close was she? Is it 10
I can
feet?
show. I can.
Is it 10 feet.
I can show you a picture. What? There. Sorry. I'm happy to share. Right. 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 I appreciate that. Thank you. So is this Martha's house on the corner? Okay, so I'll show you. These are the two lots, this one in particular. And if we look at, oh shoot, I lost it. It's required to have 20 feet and he's asking for 10. Let me see if I lost it. How did I lose it? It was just right here. I'll show you what he's built. Oh, here we go. So right now the house currently sits in the middle. This is the empty ones. He's going to build this one. This one is the one next to Martha's house. So the side of it, I believe this is the garage on the side. Is that right?
Yes.
Will be there to the lot line, and I'll show you if that's the lot line here. So, do you know is there a tree that's in that right of way? It just looks like there is on this. It's not. It's on Martha's property, so it looks like it's beyond that. Right there. Yeah, they didn't though. If you can see here, right. So, do we know what the variance is or the setback is on the inside line?
Which line?
The line between the homes.
That'll still be the side setback. It's 20 feet.
That's
required.
20 feet.
Yeah. And
would the homeowner consider sliding the home so that we have 10 feet side setback is toward the second house that he's building, and we maintain the 20-foot side setback against the neighbors? You can speak into the microphone, please.
if the concern it is their privacy, their setback, we can, if you guys allow us, we can move the house towards the other lot. We still need a variance to be able to fit the house.
Yeah, just do
But
a
we
10-foot
can-
setback on the other side.
Yeah, we can stay 20 feet away from the property line. That's possible.
Would that be acceptable? Would Martha be happy with that? What does the commission feel about that as an option? To make the side variance toward the interior? Well, so the variance that you're asking for, because it's not specified on which side, I don't think. It just says that it's asking for a side variance. We would want you to slide the whole house to the south toward the second house
Yeah,
and leave the property line to the neighbors at 20 feet.
yeah, we can make that happen.
Is that okay?
Perfect.
We're good?
Anyone else on this topic?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got room if he wants to, it looks like. I don't think it'll look any one way or the other from the street. So, okay. Sorry, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
Any other questions from the commission? We ready to close the open hearing? All right, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We're going on to the next topic. Yeah. Yeah. Do we have a second? I think Kathy second. So commission, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on for this petition that we have in front of us here. Do we have to vote to approve this? All right. Provided that David provides Matt with a recalibration of his setbacks, right? Yep. Do we comfortable moving forward and making a motion? Do we have a question? Well, what's the question?
Was there a hand
Was
raised?
there a hand raised, sir?
Can you come to the microphone, please, so that it can be on the recording? Sorry. Can you step up to the microphone?
No, we're not going. All right. We comfortable voting on that? All right. Do I have a motion to approve based on the discussion we just had to
So moved.
reset? Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yep. Kathy, Mayor,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Michelle.
Yes.
Moving on to last month's approval of minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Everybody had a chance to look at those?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, other business. Moving on to our friends from Romanelli and Hughes and the Arrowhead Development. Just so everybody knows, we're in the start of a process here where tonight the Romanelli and Hughes team is going to present their concept plan or their plans. And it's our first meeting with the zoning commission to hear them take us through those plans. So we will have them present. The zoning commission will ask questions, and we'll have time at the end for residents to ask questions. Okay. All right. So go ahead, Jim. You want to come on up?
There we go. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gary Smith. I'm with G2 Planning and Design. I am the land planner, landscape architect for the project here on behalf of Romanelli and Hughes. We're very excited to kind of bring this in front of the board this evening. We've been working on this for a little over a year now. Spent a lot of time working with a lot of different folks from the village, from the county, trying to kind of put this together in a way that we think will ultimately, hopefully complement the village and be a great development for the community. So this is the Arrowhead Golf Course. I think everybody's pretty familiar with where it is at this point. It's right up on the northern edge, adjacent to Sunbury, right up against State Route 3. The property itself right now is the existing golf course. It's being used as a golf course. Mr. Grosinger is looking to sell the property and retire, ultimately not run the facility as a golf course anymore. The site currently in the village's comprehensive plan is labeled as to be used for planned commercial. And I believe it is in the zoning map as planned commercial. And what we are intending is, instead of what we think is kind of a more intense use of larger commercial buildings on this property, we want to do more of a village scale mixed use with residential, smaller portion of commercial, and a variety of residential, all focused really kind of around a community green. The property itself is about 84 acres. There's a variety of ponds on the golf course now. Those ponds are actually more hazard than they are drainage. They're used also to feed the irrigation system for the golf course. And so a lot of what you see on the golf course is obviously going to be reshaped for the development. But we have an existing power line. You can kind of see it in the image there to the south. And then we have up in the northeastern corner, we have kind of a stand of existing trees that we've kind of arranged the development to try to preserve a majority of those trees in that location. So this is kind of an overall view of the development plan. So this is black and white. It's going to be very difficult, and I apologize for people to read on that small screen. But this is really a mix of uses, and this is broken down into, I think, 4 or 5 sub areas in terms of use. And so right up along Walnut, at the corner of Walnut and State Route 3, is the commercial area. And then the next sub area adjacent to the commercial area along State Route 3 is, I do have a pointer. I wasn't sure if it would actually work on the, I don't think, yeah, it won't work on a TV screen. Fantastic. It's the same exact pointer that I have in my pocket. Yeah, it will not work. It will not work on the screen. So, yeah, and so that's the commercial space that she's pointing at there. And then we have for sale townhomes. So these are not going to be rental. These are going to be sold as fee simple to individual buyers. And then we have a traditional single family section, which is primarily all across the northern portion of it. So these are going to be single family lots, typical single family homes, very similar to what we have next door. And then down towards the southeast, these are patio homes. And so patio homes are designed for kind of a 55 plus community. They're single story, no stairs. It's a very quiet community. These are folks that they don't have kids. They don't need a lot of outdoor space. The community, that portion of the community is ultimately managed in a very similar way to condos. So you don't have to mow your own yard. You don't have to take care of a lot of exterior maintenance. And so if you are a snowbird you're retired, your kids are out, and you like to go down to Florida for a couple of months, you can just pick up and leave and not really worry about, plowing snow, shoveling your driveway, shoveling the sidewalk, those kind of things, because that's all taken care of by the homeowners association. So those are the primary uses for the development. And that is all centered around, and I think you might have pointed to it, that is all centered around kind of what we're calling a village green. So this is about a 2-acre gathering space in the center of the project that will ultimately be there for the use of all the residents, anybody from the village of Galena or anybody visiting the commercial. If you come over to get ice cream, you can go sit in the village green. We're gonna have benches, some other things. You'll see that here in a minute. A lot of those commercial along the boulevard entry in and along the circle in the middle are actually gonna face that road. We're gonna have on-street parking, so we'll have very slow movement of cars through there. We want to keep this very pedestrian friendly and pedestrian oriented because we ultimately want people to walk through the community. We want people to be able to walk. We've also created a pathway connection from the adjacent development where the pathway stub is, so that folks from the adjacent development can walk into and over to the commercial to go to a restaurant, coffee shop, whatever ends up kind of being built in that commercial space, being able to take advantage of the village green. We're anticipating that village green to also be used for potentially community functions like a movie night on the green, those kind of things. Those kind of things will be programmed ultimately by the owners association. And then the entire development is going to be kind of surrounded by, including the internal green spaces, approximately 30 acres of open space, which is about 35% of the development. So that's a pretty generous amount of open space for most projects of this type. I do. I'm headed there next. There you go. So this is the color version of it. So you can see. So yeah. So there's open space around the perimeter. We're also leaving a 30-foot landscape setback in between the existing development and our development. And we're doing that for 2 reasons. Number one, we're not allowing the lots of those development to go all the way up and back up to the lots in the new development because we do have a kind of a nice tree line established there. So we don't want to give any of the new homeowners permission to go in, cut down any of those trees. We want to preserve those trees. We also are going to provide some landscaping and buffering to fill in where there are shallow spots or where there are clear spots in those trees. We're going to fill that in with additional landscaping and buffering. So we're maintaining that as a permanent open space strip that will not be part of the adjacent owner's property. It'll be part of the permanent homeowners association's property. A lot of our drainage, as you can kind of see from some of the blue areas, a lot of our drainage really goes towards Route 3. So we have a lot of stormwater ponds that we need to provide over along Route 3 to capture our stormwater. We also have some down to the south and a little bit along our entry at Walnut Road. This is a look at the open space plan. So this is just kind of a little bit more clear. We have a variety of different open spaces in the development. You know, some of them are perimeter open spaces. Some of them are landscape buffer strips. Some of them are smaller individual community parks inside the different sub areas. And then we have, we have the main community green, the 2-acre community green in the center as well. And that community green is really going to be the focus for the entire community. It's the first thing you see as you drive into the main entry and you hit that loop. It's going to be the thing that everything focuses on. So that the townhomes are designed to kind of front on that space. That whole space is going to be defined by architecture, much like you would have in the village here, where a lot of your shops along the road kind of face out onto that village green. So landscaping, this is just kind of a diagram of the landscaping. Obviously, with a development like this and with Romanelli and Hughes, this is going to be extremely well landscaped. So you can expect street trees throughout the development. on all of the streets, including the areas where we have, on-street parking. We'll have landscaping, of course, in the open spaces. All of the individual units will have their own kind of landscape packages that are offered with the units. The commercial area will be well landscaped as well. And the center green, you'll see some examples of that here. So this is kind of an example, or this is kind of an enlargement of the entry. So the entry is going to be flanked by 2 ponds. One of the restrictions that we have is the overhead power line runs over right where our entry kind of comes into the development. And so they get a little touchy about planting trees under their power lines. So we won't be able to put any tall trees in that area. We're going to work with them to kind of identify what we can and can't do. Right now, we have low signage in that area, but we've still got to confirm some of these things with the utility company. But we will have ponds on either side, stormwater fountains in those ponds. That'll be kind of part of the main experience as you enter the project and as you enter into the commercial areas. Opportunity also for patios. If you had a restaurant there, it would be an opportunity for a patio to be adjacent to that pond, to be able to look out, on that fountain. The green space itself, again, it's approximately 2 acres. We're looking at a number potentially of different amenities, but right now we're looking at it for kind of a community gathering space. So you can kind of see throughout the path network, there are benches along all the paths. We've got landscaping. We've got a gazebo there that can act for, community events. Can also be a backdrop for, like a movie night, something like that. That gazebo will have power to it so that you can have equipment there and everything else and do community events. On the right-hand side of that page is kind of an enlargement of kind of the commercial frontage. So when we talk about kind of village-oriented commercial, if folks have been kind of like Market Square in New Albany, where the storefront actually faces the road and addresses the road, so you have front doors along the road instead of kind of being buried by parking. We want to create a very pedestrian-oriented atmosphere. We want people to walk along the street, take advantage of the shops. We want people to walk from the development to the shops. If you drive there, we do provide parking in the back, but you're still going to enter primarily from the fronts of those stores. Just some examples of the landscape details, benches, normally what you would find in kind of a public sphere, benches, trash cans. The individual sub areas themselves for the residential will be required to have gang mailboxes, or what we call cluster mailboxes nowadays. The post office several years ago, if you're not familiar, basically came out and said we're no longer going to deliver to individual mailboxes. So every community, whether it's a single family community, whether it's a multifamily community or townhomes, it doesn't matter if you're 1 acre lots or quarter acre lots, you have to provide a gang mailbox somewhere in your community that you are going to have to drive to get your mail. You will no longer be able to get your mail at your address for new communities. So we'll have gang mailboxes. There'll be decorative mailbox units. They'll have kind of an overhead structure, keep you out of rain. They'll have a nice little slope cap so that you don't, leave your coffee cup on top of the unit and kind of let trash collect and accumulate. And then signage. So signage along the road. The other thing that we're doing as part of the development is we're creating an easement area at either corner for the opportunity for a welcome to Galena sign as a sort of an identity or a brand for the village of Galena. This will go out along Route 3, very similar to something maybe in style to like what's on the upper left. And this is something that we had kind of talked to Galena about. They expressed a desire in kind of early on in the process. And so we're creating an opportunity for some branding there. And then the other 2 signs are kind of the main entry sign and then opportunity for signs, commercial along Walnut Street. So these are architectural elevations and perspectives of the commercial buildings. There are a number of architectural elevations in here, but this gives you kind of an idea of the architectural quality and the architectural style that Romanelli and Hughes is ultimately going to bring to the community. So these are primarily brick, stucco buildings, quality materials. They've hired George Berardi to design these, so a really well-known architect to put these buildings together, something that will reflect well ultimately on the quality of the project and reflect well on the village. Some more examples of elevations or another variety. This is an elevation of the townhome units. So this is kind of the front elevation, and this is important. What we don't want to do with the townhomes is we don't want to have garages that front the street. We want the architecture to take precedence along the street. So we want the front doors out along the street, the primary, and then we want to put driveways and garages behind the unit so that you don't see kind of the car functions of the townhome. So the way these are designed ultimately is to have the front doors like this that will face the street, and then the back will have the garage doors. And in the way we've designed the building, we've incorporated the garages underneath the building. That way you don't have these really kind of ugly looking projections off of the back of the building that look like they've just kind of been stuck on the back of the building. The garage is actually incorporated kind of into the architecture. These are examples of the single family homes and kind of the architectural style, the architectural quality. Very similar in nature to a lot of the homes that you're going to find kind of in the region next door. We're really trying to maintain that level of quality. These are an example of some of the patio homes throughout the community. In that patio home section, again, these are kind of oriented towards the 55 plus crowd. Again, these are folks whose children have gone, so they don't want a two-story home. They don't want to climb up and down stairs. So what you get in a house like this is you get a really nice kitchen and gathering area. You get a really nice downstairs master bedroom, and you might get a spare bedroom or office along with that, but everything is on that first floor level. And then here's some examples just of ultimately what the streetscape is going to look like, kind of from a 3D perspective. This is a look kind of through the park, through the community gathering area. This is kind of a look with the park on one side and the commercial on the other, so you can kind of get an idea of how you might walk along kind of the commercial spaces and then have the park opposite you, or be able to walk into the park from the commercial spaces if you wanted to sit or if there was activity going on in the park. You know, again, more commercial, the townhomes. A shot of the rear of the townhomes, the townhome open space area. And then we put together kind of a couple videos. This first one here will kind of drive you, this is starting at Walnut Street, and we'll kind of drive you through the community